Fourth DART phase underway. Good evening, I am Nasa Kingo. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBConline, and also get all the latest all the time through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBConline. The Vice President of Tanzania, Dr. Philip Mpango, has directed Ambassador of Tanzania to Turkey, Ambassador Eid Saif Bakari, to ensure he implements country's key policy of economic diplomacy and he finds market for Tanzanian products. The Vice President gave the directive in Dodoma when he met and held talks with the ambassador, insisting to him to explore potential investors, especially in the areas given priority by the government.
Tendea kazi cha kwanza, of course, lazima uielewe vizuri sera.
In order to represent us well, you must know your country. I always insist that at least every ambassador should have basic statistics of our country on both sides of the union, the opportunities we have and our priorities. For that reason, we expect you to have a vision of national development as well as a vision of development of Zanzibar, the 5-year development plan, as well as a manifesto of the Chama cha Mapinduzi, because that is where the priorities of the development of our nation are in 5 years period.
Ambassador Bakari highlights the opportunities created by the positive cooperation between Tanzania and Turkey, including business opportunities of cotton, coffee, tea, and tobacco.
Turkey is a country that is very developed in the textile industry and is one of the countries that imports cotton from our country, as well as tobacco, coffee, tea, and spices. The thing to make sure of is that we have a big market for cotton and tobacco, and Turkey is also doing well in tourism. In 2021, it collected almost 16 billion compared to us when we collected 2.6 billion in tourism. I have already followed that there was an agreement with the Turkish airline to have advertisements in the plane, especially during takeoff and landing, that advertised the attractions in Tanzania for a few minutes, and the MOU is already in the final stages to be able to have talks with the company.
More than 500 billion Tanzanian shillings have been allocated to implement the construction of the fourth phase Dar es Salaam Rapid Transit 23.3 kilometer project from city center to Tegeta and the section from Mwenge to Ubungo. The signing of the contract for the construction has taken place in Dar es Salaam, and the construction is expected to take 12 months to its completion. Here is a report prepared by Kuluthum Dunda and read by Abasia Ringo.
It is in the Julius Nyerere International Conference Center where various leaders led by the Deputy Minister of Works and Transport, Godfrey Kasekenya, are witnessing the signing of 4 construction contracts. The contracts signed include the contracts to construct the Dar es Salaam Rapid Transit from the city center to Tegeta Dawasa, to repair the Ubungo to Kimara Road section, and another contract targets to spend 17 billion shillings to complete the construction of the Tamko Road in Coast Region. The contract details are given, revealing how it is going to benefit the citizens.
Mikataba ya miradi minne ni kwa ajili ya ujenzi wa miundombinu.
The contracts of our projects are for the constructions of rapid bus transport infrastructure in Dar es Salaam, and one project is for the constructions of the Tamko Vikawe to Mapinga Road at asphalt level.
Deputy Minister in charge of Transport, Godfrey Kasekenya, insists on the importance of managing the projects professionally.
Dar es Salaam ni mji ambao uko very busy. Dar es Salaam is a busy city. Have a strategic plan to ensure that in construction of those roads, they do not create unnecessary chaos.
He also directs the involvement of the citizens from the initial stage of the project.
katika vitu vikubwa kwa Mtanzania yoyote. One of the most important things for any Tanzanian is to build for them a road, especially asphalt.
Good news there for the residents of Dar es Salaam. Remaining in Dar es Salaam, in response to the employment challenges to the graduates of higher education in the country, the University of Dar es Salaam has entered into an agreement with the Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, TBCF, through the Higher Education for Economic Transformation project. The agreement targets to enable graduates gain relevant experience and gain employment. Speaking in the seat of Dar es Salaam during the launch of the Industrial Advisory Committee of HEET project, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Professor Caroline Nombo, says the measure will play a crucial part to solve the problem of unemployment and also improve the curriculum to match the needs of the market. Here is a report prepared by Salama Hamim and read by Lulua Mohammed.
Education stakeholders witnessing the signing of contracts between Dar es Salaam University and Tanzania Private Sector Foundation TBCF, together with RUWASA, aiming to develop the skills. Professor Caroline Nombo is the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. Here she elaborates how Higher Education for Economic Transformation HEET project is going to help to solve the challenge of unemployment for university graduates.
There have been challenges for graduates who come from our college. Many of them have skills that do not enable them to be employed. We saw that the best way to improve this is by ensuring that our universities cooperate with employers.
Deputy Vice Chancellor of University of Dar es Salaam, Professor William Anangisye, explains how the HEET project will be compatible with the needs of the labor market in the country.
We also want these contracts to contribute to making our graduates think of self-employment instead of waiting to be employed. Also, through these contracts, we can provide the knowledge we have to help the institutions with which we have signed contracts in order to solve several challenges.
The Acting Director General of the Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, TBCF, Raphael Maganga, expounds on the unemployment statistics and how the project will help to improve the situation.
Zaidi ya wanafunzi 100,000 mpaka milioni 1.
More than 100,000 to 1 million students graduate every year. Among of them, less than 15% get official employment. Therefore, the agreement between the University of Dar es Salaam and private sector institutions is to solve the challenges of how Tanzania companies can hire graduates.
The project of Higher Education for Economic Transformation HEET, funded by the World Bank, aims to improve the higher education to produce graduates who are incompatible with the needs of the labor market.
The Commissioner for Minerals, Ministry of Minerals, Abdurrahman Mwanga, calls on Tanzanians to maximize on the opportunities available in the country to increase the value chain of minerals to boost profits. He made the call in Dar es Salaam after visiting the mining village of the 47th Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair, which brings together the stakeholders of the sector. He says after the revision of the mining law, the country currently has a total of 2 large gold refinery factories and many other small factories for value-added chain to precious metals.
Ilifanya marekebisho ya sheria ya kuongeza msisitizo.
It amended the law to increase the emphasis on adding value to our minerals here in the country, and thus there are already large factories that have been built here in Tanzania for the refining of gold ore. But also on the side of gemstones, there are small value-adding factories where right now even women participate in the issues of mineral valuation in the sense of processing to be able to use our minerals to make various products, including decorations.
tupo tayari kuendelea kushirikiana na Wizara ya Madini.
We are ready to continue to cooperate with the Ministry of Minerals in organizing these exhibitions because our goal is to ensure that what we have prepared in collaboration with TranTrade is successful.
He adds that through the fair, Tanzanians will have the opportunity to explore business opportunities that exist in the mining sector. Now we go all the way to Zanzibar. The ongoing Zanzibar Film Festival opens doors for filmmakers in Tanzania. The festival, which runs for 9 days until July 2nd, features a curated selection of 18 feature films, 22 feature documentaries, and 45 short films and animations. My colleague Kefa Igilo is in Zanzibar to eyewitness the festival and has prepared the following report.
From the 26th of Zanzibar International Film Festival, known as ZIF, where the world of cinema has come alive on this beautiful island of Zanzibar. The festival just kicked off on 24th June 2023, and it has been an incredible celebration of storytelling through films.
For anybody who really asks me what ZIF is, I always tell them ZIF is actually two things. The ZIF, the organization, the Zanzibar International Film Festival, NGO, but also the ZIF, the festival, the Zanzibar International Film Festival. The uniqueness about this year's festival is basically the way that people have focused on the theme of this festival. This year the theme is called Finding Identity. And most of the films that we've chose and the themes that are being discussed are basically finding identity in different ways. And therefore, when you come to ZIF this year, you'll be able to see what identity means from different perspectives. You see a music, films that talk about identity. You see a film called, from Qatar discussing soccer, but it's actually about identity. You see a film from the States, about African American identity, immediately that. And you'll see a film from Oman that talks about a House of Wonders, which is a Zanzibari building, and yet it talks about Omani identity.
One of the most exciting initiatives taking place at ZIF this year is the partnership between ZIF and Malchoice Talent Factory. Malchoice Talent Factory is known for its commitment to nurturing talent and supporting aspiring filmmakers across Africa. They have organized a day's masterclass here at ZIF, providing unique opportunities for filmmakers to enhance their film skills and content production. The future for the Tanzania storytelling industry is really promising, and we can't really wait to see these aspiring filmmakers to share their stories, and we want to see them coming to life. Reporting from Zanzibar, Tanzania, Kefa.
Thank you very much, Kefa Igilo, all the way from Zanzibar. Director of Media Institute of Southern Africa, Ms. Elizabeth Riziki, says internet users, especially young people, should be on the forefront to protect Tanzanian culture and values in accordance with the laws and regulations of the country for the welfare of the future generations. Here is a report prepared by Emmanuel Samuel, read by Lelua Mohammed.
Director of Media Institute of Southern Africa, Ms. Elizabeth Riziki, made the call in Dar es Salaam during a meeting to collect the recommendations from stakeholders on the Internet Trust change.
We are very grateful with UNESCO conducting these sessions and picking MISA Tanzania among many to get the views on the Internet for Change Trust. So for the sake of the community that we're working with, we are living in, I call for the young Tanzanians who are actually the most user of the social media and other internet use for getting information. It's good that we get information through the internet. It becomes very instant and very fast, put it that way. But there is a need to make sure that you do some fact checking. Mostly when you have information from a network or from source that is not a registered source. Some information might be malinformation, some can be misinformation. So it's best that you do fact checking to be sure that the information you have is valid and useful. And most importantly, how you use the internet. Make sure that you are proud of whatever you put in the internet in the next 10 years.
On the other hand, the UNESCO program officer Festo Lazaro says that the organization will continue to cooperate with MISA to ensure that internet users continue to be educated, while one of the participants of the meeting says that the cooperation between MISA and UNESCO is an opportunity for young people to get a chance to continue learning proper use of the internet.
Because we hope to get some opinions and ideas from them, and actually they have played their part. And therefore we congratulate them and we thank them for coming, and we hope that their inputs are going to be very important in the development of these guidelines.
A very good opportunity to discuss different issues concerning digital platforms.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Samuel, for that report. Now, from telecommunications sector, we go to tourism sector. And today we're going to look at Loxodonta africana, which is an African elephant, also known as the African savanna elephant. These gigantic animals are the largest land mammals on Earth, with a height of about 13 feet and weighs up to 7 tons. They can be defined by their larger ears that resemble the African continent. Margaret Geddy has more details.
African elephants are slightly larger than their Asian relatives, and they can be defined by their larger ears and somehow looks like the shape of the African continent. Known to the world as ecosystem engineers, African elephants are keystone species, meaning they play a critical role in the ecosystem. Elephants shape their habitat in many ways. During the dry season, they use their tusk to dig up riverbeds and create watering holes many animals can drink from. Their dung is full of seeds, helping plants spread across the environment, and it makes pretty good habitat for insects such as dung beetles. In the forest, their feasting on trees and shrubs create pathways for smaller animals to move through. And in the savanna, they uproot trees and eat saplings, which help to keep the landscape open for zebras and other plain animals to thrive in. Elephants' ears radiate heat to keep these giants cool when the heat is too much. Elephants are fond of water and enjoy showering by sucking water into their trunks and spraying it all over themselves. Afterwards, they often spray their skin with a protecting coating of dust, and this action is known as wallowing. An elephant's trunk is usually a long nose used for smelling, breathing, trumpeting, drinking, and also for grabbing things, especially a potential meal. The trunk alone contains about 40,000 muscles. African elephants have 2 finger-like features on the end of their trunk that they can use to grab small items. The elephant's trunk is known as the Hand of Wonders because of its ability to function in many activities possible.
Thank you very much, Margaret Geddy, for that interesting story on African savanna elephant. Don't miss the continuation of that particular story next Friday right here on TBC News. Now, before we wind up our local news tonight, let us now take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read by Apasia Ringo.
President William Ruto of Kenya has announced that the government has approved a proposal by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to increase the monthly levy of the lower cadre of civil servants. President Ruto, however, went on to add that he had rejected a similar proposal by the SRC to also increase the salaries of senior civil servants, including himself, the Deputy President, Cabinet Secretaries, and Members of Parliament by an average of 14%. Speaking during the unveiling of digital government services at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi, President Ruto disclosed that the salaries will be raised by between 7 to 10% effective from July 1st, 2023. He added that the move was occasioned by the tough economic times presently being witnessed by the country, hence the increment is meant to mitigate the workers. He further stated that the change will be affected to government employees below the level of a principal secretary alongside teachers, policemen, as well as military officers.
I have also instructed SRC that there are parastatals, there are universities where the vice chancellors and the MDs earn more than even the president. I want to know what those people, what they do.
The United States Supreme Court has ruled that colleges must stop considering race as a factor in their admission policies, dealing a setback to so-called affirmative action efforts aimed at boosting the enrollment of Black and Latino students at top universities. The top court's decision came in response to lawsuits that challenged the policies of Harvard University and the University of North Carolina by claiming race-conscious student admissions programs discriminate against white and Asian American applicants. The ruling is the latest by the conservative-dominated court to advance right-wing political causes, and it could have significant implications for U.S. college enrollment and diversity on campuses across the country. President Joe Biden decreed the court's decision, calling on universities to continue to advance diversity in spite of the ruling by considering race-related factors like adversity. Affirmative action first made its way into policy in the 1960s and has been defended as a measure to increase diversity. And France President Emmanuel Macron vowed to examine all options to restore order on Friday after rioters torched buildings and cars and looted stores across the country in a third night of raids sparked by the fatal police shooting of a teenager of North African descent. The 17-year-old death at a police traffic stop caught on video has ignited long-standing resentment among poor, racially mixed, urban communities over incidents of police violence and allegations of systemic racism within law enforcement. More than 200 police were injured and 1,000 people have been arrested overnight as rioters clashed with officers in towns and cities across France, with buildings as well as buses and other vehicles torched and stores looted.
And that was international news. The sports news up next. And in sports news, the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament, Musa Hassan Zungu, urges Tanzanians to continue to support President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan to continue to transform and improve the sports sector. He made the call in Dar es Salaam after visiting the pavilion of the Ministry of Arts, Culture and Sports in the 47th Dar es Salaam International Trade Fair, whereby the ministry is for the first time participating in the fair. Margaret Getty is attending the fair and has prepared the following report.
Happening in the pavilion of the Ministry of Culture, Arts and Sports, loaded with various games including darts, drafts, scrolling and all kinds of culture dances. Soon after visiting the pavilion, Deputy Speaker Musa Hassan Zungu has said President Samia Suluhu Hassan has been highly supporting sports clubs in the country.
Tanzania is very far now in sports. we have seen our big teams, Young African and the Simba Sports Club, doing well in African competition. This is because of the motivation provided by President. We also congratulate the ministry, especially Minister and the Permanent Secretary Said Yacob, for their effort to make sports reach its highest levels. This is the first time for the ministry to be involved in this exhibition.
On his part, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Culture, Arts and Sports, Said Yakubu, has said the sports sector is currently providing employment, where he has been given an opinion to the sports stakeholders on the use of opportunities found in the trade fair.
Investment in sports have been growing gradually because we are looking for infrastructure development, and we are working with private sector in raising fund and other resources needed. But we are also providing opportunities for local entrepreneurs to receive these tenders and for consultancy, for construction. This is in the sports sector. In the arts and culture, as I have said, we are working with private sector in their performance. We are building capacity for them to understand. Investment, sports, culture and arts are no longer just entertainment. This is now an economic opportunity. Today I've been here for the last 6 hours. I have met artists whom we have sent abroad, and they have already received orders, if I can say, to go back and perform.
Some of the stakeholders in the arts, sports and culture also have something to say.
This sector is very important in the country. That is why they are participating in the exhibition, because for quite a long time it was hidden. They were not participating in such things. But this sector of culture, arts and sports is very important to the development of the country, both economical and social.
We have seen the opportunity, especially in Swahili. When tourists are visiting our country, you can sometimes give them support by translating what they want, and that is an opportunity.
The pavilion has included 9 institutions under the ministry, which include KOSOTA, the Film Board, and the Bagamoyo Tasuba Culture College.
JKT boxer Peter Tosh claims he will defeat his opponent, Boni Sarah, in a 9-title fight ahead of Payback Night, bout to be held in July 15th in Dar es Salaam. Speaking during his preparation gearing up for the fight, Toshi adds that he's training hard, ready to showcase maximum performance during the fight and outshine his opponent, and he is being supported by his coach Nasser Nondo.
I am well prepared for the fight. What is important, I am physically fit. I am going to show what I have given by my coach in training. We are going to see who is better than his opponent. We have given our boxer special tactics to punch his opponent in the ring. We are not trying, we are ready for the fight.
Boxer Peter Tosh and Boni Sarah will fight before main card title fight between Abdallah Pazi, who is also known as Dula Mbabe of Tanzania, against Eric Kamtompa of Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. And that's the sports news. Now, before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello and welcome to the next 24 hours of the forecast, starting tonight at 9 p.m. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Ramadan Omari. Let's start with the wind flow pattern for tomorrow. Coastal wind is expected to flow at 30 kilometers per hour over the entire coast, from south over the northern coast and from southeast over the southern coast. And the state of the sea is expected to be moderate. And tonight, dry condition with cool temperatures are expected over most part of our country. Over the coastal areas, minimum temperature is expected to range from 18 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius. Over southwestern Highland, as you can see, minimum temperature is expected to range from 60 degrees Celsius up to 10 degrees Celsius. And the lowest minimum temperature is expected to be 60 degrees Celsius over Njombe region. And tomorrow, most area of our country are expected to be dry, except over a few areas of Tanga, together with Unguja and Pemba ISOs, were expected to feature partly cloudy condition, light torrential showers and sun period. And now, let's have a look on the next 4 days of forecast over some regions of our country. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Nasa King on behalf of the whole team. We wish you a good night and a nice weekend.